Maya tatam idam sarvam Jagat avyaktamurtina Vattani sarva bhutani Nachaham te savastita Maya by me Tatam pervaded Idam, this, Sarvam, all, Jagat, cosmic manifestation, Avyaktamurtina, by the unmanifested form, Matstani, in me, Sarvabhutani, all living entities, not, Cha, also, Aham, I, Tisu, in them, Avastitaha, situated. Translation. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I'm not in them. Supreme purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not perceivable through the gross material senses. It is said, Atasi Krishna Namadina Bhavat Krayam Indriye Sevam Mukhe Jivado Swayam Nevas Puratyada. Quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 1736, a text which is originally found in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-2-234. Lord Sri Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, etc. cannot be understood by material senses. Only to one who is engaged in pure devotional service under proper guidance is he revealed. In the Brahma Samhita 538, it is stated, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santasadeva Ridyesu Vilokayanti. One can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, always within himself and outside himself, if one has developed the transcendental loving attitude towards him. Thus, for people in general, he is not visible. Here it is said that although he is all-pervading, everywhere present, he is not conceivable by the material senses. This is indicated here by the word avyaktamurtina. But actually, although we cannot see him, everything is resting in him. As we have discussed in the 7th chapter, the entire material cosmic manifestation is only a combination of the two different energies, the superior spiritual energy and the inferior material energy. Just as the sunshine is spread all over the universe, the energy of the Lord is spread all over the creation, and everything is resting in that energy. Yet, one should not conclude that because he is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. To refute such an argument, the Lord says, I'm everywhere, and everything is in me, but still I am aloof. For example, a king heads a government, which is but the manifestation of the king's energy. The different governmental departments are nothing but the energies of the king, and each department is resting in the king's power. But still one cannot expect the king to be present in every department personally. That is a crude example. Similarly, all the manifestations that we see and everything that exists, both in the material world and in the spiritual, are resting on the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The creation takes place by the diffusion of his different energies, and as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vistabhyam idam kritsnam, he is everywhere present by his personal representation, the diffusion of his diverse energies. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnanana Sarvakaya Chakshurumilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Vistam Sahitamena Buddhave Swayam Rupa Karamaya Dadasi Swavadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamanam Shri Guru Naishamsya Shri Rupam Sahajatam Sahaganatam Tam Tam Shivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinanandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Radha Kanta Namaste Tata Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Namaste Vishwanu Devi Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Vasani Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kirtanya Sadhari. That the holy name of the Lord may never end. It may be continuously chanted. That is nice. So Lord Krishna is speaking and is explaining how his energies are all pervading. And everything rests in Krishna, because nothing in this world is not Krishna's energy. Whatever we see, even we are also Krishna's energy. Krishna has different energies. He has internal energy, the Antaranga Shakti, which is the energy in the spiritual world. That's eternal, that is blissful. And there's no, nothing is unknown. In this world, it's a problem that there's always the unknown element. It causes anxiety. It causes fear. But in the spiritual world, there is knowledge of Krishna, and that everything is related to Krishna. It doesn't mean that on the spiritual plane one has unlimited knowledge, because only Krishna is unlimited, and our knowledge will never know all Krishna's qualities. That is not possible. Even Krishna himself doesn't know all his qualities. It says there's a competition between Krishna's knowledge and Krishna's qualities. He is finding always a new quality. And then he knows that one also. And his knowledge increases. And then there's another quality. And his knowledge increases in this way. And not only in the spiritual world is knowledge increasing, but in the same way, when Srimati Radharani discovers the endless qualities of Krishna, she's always discovering a new quality. And not just her knowledge is increasing, her love is increasing. Because each of these qualities that she discovers, she loves that quality. And she always finds a new aspect of Krishna. And she loves that. And that's not only Radharani, but that's actually every devotee. We're all discovering Krishna more and more, finding out newer qualities about Krishna, newer pastimes of Krishna, and they're all wonderful. And then, therefore there's no limit. One cannot say, now I've come to the limit of Krishna consciousness, because there is no limit in Krishna consciousness, because there is no limit of love, there is no limit of knowing Krishna's qualities. And that is eternally increasing, and the love in relation to these qualities is also increasing. Then, when Krishna sees that love increasing in his devotees, then his love is increasing. And when the devotees see that Krishna's love is increasing because their love is increasing, then their love increases also. And in this way it keeps on increasing. And meanwhile the devotees look at each other and they see that everyone is just overflowing with love for Krishna, and therefore they also feel great love for each other. In this way the spiritual world exists. How different from the external energy where we are now. Right? Now we're sort of sitting next to each other and looking at each other. I guess he/she is okay. that's already quite positive, you know. When we get that far, then we can appreciate that someone is sort of okay. And then we look at a crowd, we see a few question marks, right? Certainly, question mark, like that, and there may be a few people that are not on our list of talking to and so on. What to do? Material world, endless complexities in relationships. Marriage, please don't speak to me about marriage. I'm not against marriage at all, but it's too complicated. That's all I can say. I hear too many things about marriage, so not today. If possible, that would be nice. Let's just not talk about it. I have nothing bad to say about it. Just let's change the topic. So there are three energies, as I was saying: the internal energy, Antaranga Shakti, the external energy, the material energy, and then the living being, the Tatastha Shakti, who's in between. Yes, and we can relate to either, to the material world and to the spiritual world. Of course, when the devotees who know Krishna relate to the material world, they see that material world in relationship with Krishna. And suddenly all the material energy becomes also transcendental. As iron placed in fire becomes like fire. Although it is iron, but when kept in the fire, it acts as fire. So when we are in the glorification of Krishna, absorbed in Sankirtan, and engage everything of this world in that Sankirtan, then it all becomes transcendental. Well, just like this building is now a temple. It wasn't always a temple, but now it is. Nice. First time I'm here. Nice. And it's become transcendental. It's transformed. It's become the spiritual world, actually. Wherever the deity is present, the spiritual world is also present. So this is not just an ordinary place. It is the spiritual world. In Pretoria, in South Africa, our temple is situated in a street which has many embassies. So you see different sign, embassy of this country, embassy of that country. And then there is the temple, and there's also a sign. And the sign says, Embassy of the Spiritual World. Wow. And an embassy is part of the country. Right? When you're in the embassy, you're in that country. The same way, when you're in the embassy of the spiritual world, you are in the spiritual world. So it's very nice, actually, that every temple is an embassy of the spiritual world. This also. Because when Krishna comes, it is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, that then the spiritual world comes with him. Krishna doesn't come alone, he comes with the spiritual world. So there is this is the magic element of devotional service, that it can transform otherwise material energy into spiritual energy. It can just transform material energy into spiritual energy. But how is that? Well, the Bhagavad Gita is making it clear. Because the Bhagavad Gita is explaining, Bhumira Pongalo Vayu Kamana Buddha Evacha Ahankaram Ityame Bina Prakati Astada. It said there are these 8 separated energies of mind. Separated of mind. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Now these are 8 energies of Krishna, and he says these are separated from me. Okay, they're separated from him, but they're also his energies, he says at the same time. See? That's the trick. So by devotional service, these energies that are separated from Krishna are now reconnected with Krishna. That is what we're doing in devotional service. We take so many things of the world, and suddenly Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha Yukta Vairagya Uchite. Suddenly we connect with Krishna, all the things of the world. And in that way we reclaim everything for Krishna. We reclaim all the things in the domain of Maya, in the domain of the illusory energy, all the things that pull us down. Money. Oh my God, this is mammon. Right? This is this is our downfall, right? Money. That's where all the misery starts in the world, the corruption, and it's all about money. We remember that song, money makes the world go round, the world go round. It's like Bhagavatam also says money is the honey, and someone claims that when money is the honey. So money, what people are not doing to get money. It is, we cannot even imagine. We cannot imagine how degraded people can become. So I say, we should just get rid of it. We should just have a world without. Simple. Why have it in the first place? Just replace it by love. How about that? Love, right? You have to love me, otherwise, I won't cook. You don't have to pay me, but you have to love me like that, What if we just exchange money for love? That would that be possible? It is, maybe not immediately in the material world, but in the spiritual world, that's basically the case, right? There's no bill, it's not like, all right, Krishna is the highest paid artist, on the planet, and in Goloka. And when he plays on his flute, his manager comes, and later on, and he gets billions for it, billions, just for 1 minute. That's the material world. Everything connected to money. But on the spiritual plane, everything connected to Krishna. But then, so in the eyes of many, money could look bad, could look as utterly materialistic, and could look as the opposite of spiritual life. We know that some prophet would speak about some sadhus who said, this hand doesn't touch no money. The sadhu says, no, but that hand does. I said, this hand touches no money. Yes. Anyway, so what about money? No problem with money at all. Money is neutral. It can also be, as soon as it's connected with Krishna, it becomes very nice. One can make beautiful temples. Imagine if in Amsterdam we would have 1 billion euros. 1 billion. It would be nice. I could think of a few things. We would get a little bigger space. I would get a very beautiful boat, a very beautiful canal boat with dining things, or bhajans and programs and candlelight going over the canals and things like this. And it would, of course, there would have to be a building which had a connection to the water, so that the people could come out straight from the boat into a really good restaurant. Let's have all these things. Let's have a good bookstore and lending library. We can all dream of what we could have if I would have 1 billion. And that's only Amsterdam. And then we can think of the rest of Holland, what we could do. When Prabhupada came to the Netherlands, one thing Prabhupada said, when he saw the cows, he said, we must have a farm here. It's not so easy, and so far the Netherlands, it's like, what you say, it has, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness itself, internally, has gone through so many changes in the Netherlands, over the years. That's really what happened. The outside world, actually so many people very interested, but it was internally too many changes. Whatever was there. So that farm never came, but Prabhupada did say, in the Netherlands, because he said there are so many cows. Oh, and we should have a farm. Oh. So yeah, maybe one day we'll have all these things. Who knows? When we become rich, somebody with a big inheritance can do something to fulfill these desires. Yeah. Anyway, back to the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna, we were in the Bhagavad Gita, because the Bhagavad Gita is not just a book. The Bhagavad Gita applies to life. The Bhagavad Gita is identifying elements that exist within this world and the spiritual world, like three modes of material nature. We read about it, how material nature is divided into three modes, and that goodness is helpful to elevate oneself, that passion is causing us a lot of problems with a lot of entanglement and many things. Passion means a great desire to squeeze enjoyment out of everything. Oh yes. It's like many airlines, when they bring you a drink, they say, enjoy. Thank you. Then when I ask for water, they also say, enjoy. It's just water, you know. So, the material world is a place where there is enjoyment, and a place also where there's also suffering. And everyone gets both. And a sober person can see that, you know. Someone who's like a pink glass and say, it's all so beautiful, but they'll say, yeah, it's beautiful, but, and then you can make the list. Some people get like some wake-up experience, like my parents died when I was young, so then I woke up. Kind of woke up. You know, it's not all just sweet. One moment they were there and then they were gone. What happened? 3 months in between. Same funeral, same people, same handshakes. I stood in the middle. Sister on the right, brother on the left. Shaking the same hand. Surrealistic. So then you start to think, well, it's not all just rosy. It's not all pink. There's some less beautiful sides also. So it's a little bit naive when you think, oh, this world, enjoy. Enjoy. It's so beautiful. Oh yeah, enjoy. It's a little bit naive, you know. If you think about it, there's definitely both sides in the world. So a sober person is more balanced. It's like, you know, it's more. So a person in goodness is thinking about that. He sort of sits like, you know, holding his chin and thinks about life. You know, you think he's thoughtful. I'm joking, I'm teasing. But he's thoughtful. We think. So, the Bhagavad Gita is a book for thoughtful people, undoubtedly. And therefore not everyone is always ready for it. Because society is basically not designed to think. We're not meant to think. Don't think. Play with your phone. Don't think, you know. Watch TV. Don't think, you know, like go somewhere, do something, get busy, you know, but don't think. Don't just, what are you doing there? Just sitting. How can you just sit like that, you know what I mean? God, so depressed. What are you doing? I'm thinking. God, man. I mean, are you okay? Really? I mean, are you feeling all right? Right? No, honest. You know, you're not going to do anything. No, not really. I'm just thinking. It's not part of the culture. There's no time. You know, I mean, do you have time to think what's wrong with you? You know, you're not working. Gosh, you know, rush. Hush. There's no time. Quickly jump. It's morning, you know, like read the paper, drink the brown stuff to stay awake, and somehow or other, you know, like catch yourself cranked up and breakfast on top of the newspaper, so it saves time, and then go, right? Just go. Everything fast. Living fast. Where's time to think? But yeah, some people sort of fall out of the boat, right? They kind of realize that, well, it's not all just pink. The world is not just pink. And then what? Then we begin to think. Yeah. So that's suddenly when the Bhagavad Gita starts to make sense, and you think, oh yes, this book is actually really deep, and it has amazing answers, because you see, the Bhagavad Gita in the first chapter, okay, there's a battlefield and there's a family, and they're divided over both sides of the army, right? And it creates a total stress situation, a distress situation. And then everything is getting out of control. And there was a royal family, so everything was really going well before. I mean, you know, if you know what I mean, things were like really nice, and then suddenly it all went totally wrong. And then Arjuna gets bewildered, and then come answers. And the answers are basically answers that apply to any situation. Because the answers are describing that we are eternal. The soul never takes birth. The soul never dies. Najayate liyate vakadachin. Then, nainam chintanti shastani, nainam dahati pavaka. The soul cannot be cut to pieces, not burned by fire, not drowned by water, not burned by the wind. It's just untouchable. It just cannot be affected by anything. And suddenly I realize, actually, the essence cannot totally not be affected. And suddenly we rise above the smallness of the world. All the little things that were so meaningful. Suddenly we understand that there is something much greater. And we develop a greater vision, the vision of eternity, through the Bhagavad Gita. And then we realize that that's Krishna, the all-supreme personality of Godhead. And then we realize that service to Him is our natural position. And we have to serve. We can't stop it. You have to serve your boss, you have to serve the wife, you have to serve the husband, you have to serve the kids, you have to serve all the time. The customer. You have to. We have to serve. It's inevitable. Every situation, get caught again. Right? So, but service to Krishna is the only service that can completely fulfill. No other service can actually fulfill the heart. So in this way, we gradually realize that when we take up service to Krishna, we can stay where we are, but we start to offer all the things of this world to Krishna. And some things, Krishna has made it clear what he wants and what he doesn't want. So if there's something that Krishna doesn't want, all right, then we don't offer that, and we ignore that. As simple as that. Like so many unedible things Krishna doesn't want. He says, patam pushvam phalam toyam. For me a flower, fruit, leaves, some water. Krishna is the protector of cows and milk. Some people say you know, patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachate. It says patram, it says pushpam, it says phalam, but it doesn't say milk. So, you must be vegan. How about that? Say, well, yeah, you can take one verse and isolate it from the books, right? And you can try and build a case on that. But, if you would do that in Vrindavan, it might just happen that Krishna might squirt you in your face with some milk. Because he does that. He's known to do so. And Balaram catches it and drinks that milk. And he's the Supreme Lord. So the Supreme Lord drinks milk. We have proof that Balaram, who is the Supreme Lord, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, shooting milk in the mouth of Balaram. So it's very clear that we are not meant to be vegans, just in case there was any doubt. Because Krishna takes milk, but Krishna, when he eats, he also leaves remnants. When we are offering to Krishna, actually the deity, when the deity eats, it says in scripture, the deity comes off the altar. The deity eats everything. Plate completely empty, and then he puts it back. And then it comes off the altar. That's Mahaprasad. Believe it or not. So it is described. Yes, so what to say? Well, such things are taking place. Extraordinary. And one might say, well, I don't believe such things. And why not? Prabhupada would speak about Dr. Frog. Dr. Frog, who lived at the bottom of a well, and then who heard about the ocean, said, how big is the ocean? As big as this well? No, bigger. Bigger than my well. Bigger. And then the frog became bigger. Bigger? No, it's bigger than that. Bigger? And the frog was blowing himself up until he exploded. And Prabhupada is speaking about, we try to bring everything within the realm of what is logical to our little brains. But Krishna will never be logical to our little brains. Not possible. He can do things that we will never understand. He can control the forces of nature. He can do things outside the laws of nature if he desires. So anything that he desires can manifest. Krishna, when Prabhupada was in Mayapur, in France, in the castle, Prabhupada asked the devotees to do a fruit offering for the deities, and said, yes, Prabhupada, we ran out of fruit, and it's coming from the store. The devotees went, but they're not back yet, so we can't relate to the fruit offering because the fruit just didn't come. And Prabhupada said, just go outside and take some bananas off the trees. I said, Prabhupada, there are no banana trees in France. And Prabhupada said, in the future, there will be banana trees in France. Now, you can believe it or not. That's entirely up to you. I do. And so, we're going to have a climate change, a bit of global warming, and France is going to have banana trees. What can we say? I can see it coming. What that will do to the Netherlands, I don't know. It might go under, but anyway, we might all move to France then, eh? What to do? At least they'll have bananas. Yeah, that's good. Now, why be attached? Boma ichadi, to the land of our birth, or the water of our birth. Why be attached? We are not from there. We belong to the spiritual world. We belong to Krishna. Our real home, therefore, is Krishna's home. It is Vrindavan. So, in this lecture, we find a description in the Bhagavad Gita how the material energy is also Krishna's energy, and Krishna is all-pervading, but yet not visible, and he is also staying aloof. He's not personally managing everything. It goes on by his laws, and the living beings, therefore, can be here and sort of think that possibly there is no God. Did you see him?
भगवान देखा है?
देखा है? नहीं. नहीं. Oh, yeah. Then how do you know? So atheists will argue, but of course one can say, yes, but even if one cannot see the face of the Lord, one can see the hand of the Lord. In many ways. See, even a common man can see the hand of the Lord, can see that things, sometimes the circumstances are just not just going on randomly, but things are really coming, like in the temple. So many times we see that, one pujari leaves and just the day before, someone else arrives and says, oh, I'd like to stay here for a while. I said, okay, yeah. What do you know to do? Well, not so much. I'm a pujari. We're desperately needing a pujari. Pujari! Yeah, Krishna sent so many things. So many times we have a question, you open a book, and the answer is there on the page. Many times. Are these proofs of God's existence? Not for the atheists, but for devotees, they do take these things as confirmation, and gradually, more and more, Krishna will manifest himself in our life. More and more, we'll find some reciprocation with Krishna. And more, we become attached to Krishna. You can see how people who for many years worship the deities, right? They change, they become saintly. So these are not ordinary statues. You can see many statues in the Rijksmuseum, and there are like people who dust them and who look after them, but they don't become saintly, right? They never become saintly. But if you look after the deities, you become saintly. These are not just ordinary images. Something is going on. Pujaris become transformed. Same with the Maha Mantra. It does something to people. We are now living a life with principles which we never followed before. I was born not so far away from here, and I sort of grew up in this area. I know this city like the back of my hand, and what can I say? I know all the corners of the city, if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. What to do? Je bent jong en je wil wat. Can't translate that, I'm sorry. What to do? Yeah. So, whatever may be, we become transformed. Very much so. Those who really take up this process of devotion become transformed. I mean, beyond what they previously could do. That's proof. See, you can see things like that. So when we search for some deeper proof, we can identify it, we can find it, even if you cannot say, oh, I'm talking to Krishna every morning. So, I'll start ending now. So in conclusion, for the materialist, Krishna is hiding. He's there. Everything is his energy, but he's hiding. And for the devotee who starts to offer things to Krishna, Krishna gradually starts to reveal himself, little by little, more and more. And this is the transcendental adventure, that we more and more begin to perceive Krishna. That is exciting. That makes it. Otherwise, it's just getting knowledge, studying scripture, learning, becoming learned, and so on. All right, professor. You are professor of Krishna consciousness. You have studied it for 35 years. That's not enough. We must be not just professors. We must actually somehow or other approach Krishna and develop deeper faith in Krishna. Develop our faith that Krishna is really there. And that we'll get when we are ready to take a risk for Krishna. That's how it is. It's like bhakti yoga. In the beginning it's a process, and then later on it becomes more than that. It becomes, we're dealing directly with the Supreme Lord. Of course, by following his representative, but he's directly there, the Supreme Lord. And now, little by little, he will reveal himself. And the more we are ready to do something extraordinary, the more we attract him. You see, the more we attract his special mercy, and by that he will reveal himself. So it comes to that. There comes that point where one says, and now I want to do something extraordinary to attract Krishna, to attract the mercy of Guru and Krishna. That's where it gets exciting. That's where it starts to go beyond just follow. Are you following all the rules and regulations? You are following them? Are you following them? Yes? I hope so. Well, that's only one aspect. That's okay. Stay on the road. When you drive, you got to stay between the white lines. I suppose you got to follow the rules and regulations, otherwise you go off the road. Stay on the path, yes, but it's not. Driving is not about staying between the white lines. Driving is about reaching your destination. Our destination is Krishna. We want to attain Krishna. So it's not about who's following. Oh, mirror, mirror on the wall, who follows the rules and regulations best of all? Not it. It gets like that sometimes. And sometimes in a group of devotees, it gets like that. But that's not what we're after. Because those are the white lines. We're on the road. Okay, you need to stay. You need the white lines to stay on the road. But, we're there to reach Krishna, his lotus feet, and serve him. So let's keep that in mind. And we get Krishna by serving his devotees. So let that be my conclusion tonight. Let our aim be do something for the pleasure of Krishna. Let us serve his Vaishnavas. And then let's see what will happen. What he will do. It's up to him, ultimately. I'll reward people according to their surrender. So he'll do something if you surrender. When he's pleased, something will happen. That's what we're waiting for. So any questions? Any comments?
the purport mentions the king as the head of government and so on and so forth in this particular purport.
Yeah.
And I was interested to know how we could, maybe at King State or at l'Expo Teatro, whichever Expo Teatro in Amsterdam, invite the king and the queen and the prime minister.
Yeah, we can do. We can always. It's sometimes hard to get to them with all the security nowadays, but we can try. In the Netherlands, there's we don't have like a large constituency like in the UK where we have the where we can even get audience of the Queen and so on. Here, that may take a bit more work, but we should be bold and try things. Robert was like that. He was bold. He would try.
It's knowing who to contact.
Yeah. Yes, it's knowing who to contact. You have to go through the right people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's getting the global.
Yeah. They got books in the past. By trick though, never by any formal thing. But Gauranga Premananda, he was really expert. He went 1 year to Soestdijk, where they live, and on the king, and they came out on the. That was the Queen still. The Queen. No, it was already the King, I think. Queen, the old Queen, Beatrix. And then what he did was this: there was a kid who had offered flowers to the Queen and to the Crown Prince and Princess. And then when the kid came back, the kid walked very close past Gauranga, who was standing behind the fence. So Gauranga called the kid. He said, psst, 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 psst. Come. Gave a Bhagavad Gita. Says, give that to the Queen. And the kid gave the Gita. The Queen took it. Then called back the kid. Psst, psst, psst. This one. Crown Prince. Yeah. And the kid really got into it. So they all got books. That's as far as it went in the Netherlands. Like around the Premananda's intelligence. He's very smart when it comes to distributing books. It's amazing. But yes, it would be nice if something like that could be done.
Knowing how the other heads of state have already got a lot more with our movement.
Yeah.
Like the British and the Queen there.
Sure.
And in New Zealand, in Australia, in India, so in America. So it's just collaborating.
Yeah. Well, I think that's true, and I think that from a place like the UK, so many good ideas could be taken, because it's obviously a lot of experience there, bigger projects. From big projects we can take a lot of experience, undoubtedly. And then see what we can handle in the end, small country. Yes?
I also have a question. So I also have a little comment to that. It's great ideas that you are projecting, and I think the best way to achieve these great things is at the devotee level to come together and do more and organize great events and more book distribution to get attention of this head of states. To say who are these Hare Krishnas? Let's have them. Let's make them do more, because as it is now, there is a very small community in Amsterdam. Therefore, we're not very much visible. But the more we come together and go Harinam and do festivals, that way we can get the attention of the people that can be helpful and make us greater things, perhaps.
Good. Other question?
There's one thing I find fascinating about Krishna, and this verse touches upon it, is that Krishna is more than his energies. He's beyond his energies.
Yeah. Which is difficult to understand.
It is.
You have this thing, where Krishna is acting like a coward boy. He eats clay, he denies it, and it comes to a point where his mother says, open your mouth, and his mother looks in his mouth. And then she sees the whole universe and all the elements, everything in Krishna's mouth. She sees Krishna also, and she sees like herself there. Right? So now we have here, in that story, you basically see Krishna, all his energies, and he's within it. And he's separated from it. So you would think that God is the personality Krishna plus all the energies. You would say Krishna plus energies equals God. Right? I mean, by material mathematics you would say so. But it's not like that. Krishna includes all these energies. And it's like impossible to understand. But Mother Yasoda saw it. Because she saw that all these energies were within him. And at the same time he was without. He was walking in the universe, and yet the whole universe was within him as well. She saw.
That's very nice.
And so he showed it to Mother Yasoda, that he can do. You would be thinking that these energies are separated, so automatically you say this with the personality plus energies is God in total God. No? Mundane mathematics doesn't apply. He showed it to his mother.
That's a nice example.
Okay.
With you very good.
Intelligent person. He wants, he's a very educated. No, not this one. no, I'm talking about ACDSP. Not this one also, but I'm saying we're getting now entangled here. But I wasn't speaking about my disciple of Vindasrup. I was speaking about the Vindasrup, ACDSP, disciple of Prabhupada. And he is an intellectual, he's a PhD and all these things. So he once said something which I liked. He said, when you have a book, right, consider it to be boga. It's boga. You want to offer it to Krishna, you have to make it ready. You have to cut away all the useless things, just like vegetables. You cut off certain parts, that you don't use in the preparation. So the book also, you cut away all the dead parts, and then whatever is left, right, that you offer to Krishna. Then it can be used for Krishna. So you can use we can use all kinds of books. You may use books about say someone wants to fix up this building, a book about carpentry, could be very nicely offered, although carpentry in itself is mundane, and so many others. So a lot of mundane knowledge, when connected to Krishna, becomes useful. Even novels, like Tolstoy has a nice story in one of his novels, and it's about a bishop who was on a ship, and he went with his ship, and then they said that on an island somewhere there were some saints. So he wrote, and he had himself wrote to that island to meet the saints. When he came to the saints, it was supposed to be in Russia, so Orthodox Christian Russian saints, right? And so he went there, and then there were 3 men, and he met them, and they were very simple. And when he asked them, what prayer are you using, so to see, how did they become so saintly? and they just didn't know how to pray at all. You know, it was like, wow. It was such a primitive prayer, right? It was just shocking. So he taught them. He actually, the bishop felt sorry for them and said, like, you know, so he taught them a prayer. And he was really, it was impossible. They couldn't learn it. But anyway, after hours and hours, he finally had them that they could say the prayer. Like, yeah, I did a good deed today. The bishop went back on the ship, and the ship was sailing away. And then suddenly, something came over the water with great speed. And they were the three saints. And they were running over the water. And then they stood next to the ship and they said, they called out, what was that prayer again? It was Tolstoy. It's a good story. No? You can use such stories. You know, C.S. Lewis, right, is another writer. You know, C.S. Lewis is a sharp writer. He has all kinds of things. And C.S. Lewis, he wrote this thing which was really interesting. He's saying that, you know, like that our spiritual life is like a house, right? So it's like our whole spiritual life is like a house, and God comes into that house, and he's renovating it. And you know, in the beginning, well, he was breaking a bit and changing some things, and it sort of made sense, you know. You knew that those things had to be broken. But as of late, you know, what's he doing? He's breaking everything. He's turning the whole house upside down. He said, I have heard that, you know, I thought he was going to just renovate it and make a nice little college. But now what I found out as of late is that he wants to make it into a palace, and that he wants to move in there himself. So I mean, that's very good. It's a fantastic metaphor. So I use that. You know, I took it, I cut it out of the book, offer it to Krishna. So you can do things like that.
Thank you.
But there is one problem.
Copyrights.
No, not like that. It's something, you know, like when once, okay, medical, I tell you a medical example. So, you know, I had to do the blood test, the urine test, the stool test, and all these things, right? So I got the result back, right? And when then I looked at all the things, and it came to the stool test. Then I looked at the whole list of ingredients, and then at the bottom it said, smell. And I couldn't help my mind, but in my mind I went to the laboratory, and I could just imagine, you know, you work in a laboratory like that, you put it on a glass. Roquefort. I was thinking, oh my God, what a job. I mean, so that also happens when you read all kinds of books, right? You also have to smell all kinds of things that really like are a bit intense. So that is the problem. You can take out the good parts, but some parts really smell. Yeah. I just wanted to add that. Yes.
Can you please, if you have a little time, do a little bit more here?
No, my voice is I have a voice problem. I had a cold and my voice is gone. Yeah, my voice is gone, so it's like you could hear it was a bit hoarse. I had a hard time. Couldn't hit the high notes and everything. I'm croaking today, so I have to stop. Now, what to do also. Anyway, it's nice to be in Amsterdam after a long time. Of course, I was a little sick last year, so I also couldn't come. I wanted to, but I couldn't. So it's the first time I've been in now. Nice to be Cozy. Important word now. More to the Dutch, it means much more than cozy. Cozy is nice, but gezellig is that's the Dutch motto. Gezellig. It's got to be gezellig. Gezellig. That's very important. You keep it gezellig. Yeah. Yes.
Would you say a program is from the next few days, weeks, months?
No, I'm off to London actually tomorrow. Yes, I'll come back for the King's Day Festival. Yeah, yeah. And then I'll stay in Europe. See, I'm going from here to London, and then I'll go to South India to an Ayurvedic jail for 3 weeks. Where they're really strict. It's not so gezellig. It's not really gezellig. But it's supposed to be healthy.
Which place?
The Coimbatore. Very strict. Super strict. Oh. Anyway, I'm going there. What to do?
Checking out for theatre.
Yeah, let's see if I can handle. If my health is picking up. I was, be careful with all these radiators. Too much. But I'll try. Okay. So then, I thank you very much. It was nice. Thank you for coming all, and I hope you enjoyed the evening.
His Holiness Kadamba Swami ki.
See you soon.